I always like to share things that are going to be beneficial to people as a whole. And so today, this came from bringing out the best in people, how to enjoy helping others excel. The author is Alan Lloyd McGinnis. And so today's reading was How to Turn Your Child into a Thief. More and more psychological studies show that we have the power to call out the worst are the best in people by our expectations. So I think that's a valid point that we really need to be thinking about is we have the power to call out the worst or the best in people by our expectations. The executive who believes you just can't get good help anymore, and the teacher who is convinced that most kids are lazy hold a remarkable negative power over those people. Psychologist C. Knight Aldrich, who worked for years with delinquent children, wrote a fascinating article some time ago in a psychology journal explaining how parents can quickly turn their children into thieves. Here's the way to do it. Let us say that your son, as most children do, at some time or another, engages in some petty theft. Perhaps he steals a package of candy. If you say to him, "Now we know what you are, you're a thief. We'll be watching you from now on," it is quite likely that he will steal more and can quickly graduate from stealing candy to stealing cars. On the other hand, you can react with both firmness and gentleness by saying, "Tom, that wasn't like you at all. We'll have to go back to the store and clear this up. But we're not going to make a huge thing of it. What you did was wrong, and you know it was wrong. And we're sure you won't do it again." Again, after such treatment, most kids' stealing careers are over. The principle is very old. Assuming a negative attitude and reflecting back to people all the data about their weaknesses, you put them in touch with their faults and their behaviors become worse. By assuming a positive attitude and concentrating on their strong aspects, you put them in contact with their good attributes and their behavior becomes better. And so while this is talking about children, I think this is the same thing for adults. We can focus on positive attitude and their person's strong aspects in order to get them to put them in contact with good attributes and their behavior so their behavior becomes better. Further down it says, each of us, no matter how direct, wants to believe that we have the best of intentions, and we want others to believe that as well. Treat a man as he appears to be, and you make him worse. But treat a man as if he already were what he could potentially be, and you make him what he should be. And then it goes on, there's a study, and I've heard this study over and over again, but the study, it says a famous study in the classroom by Robert Rosenthal, a Harvard psychologist, and Lenore Jacobson, a San Francisco school principal, furnishes us with a good illustration of this. They ask the question, do some children perform poorly in school because their teachers expect them to? If so, they surmise raising the teacher's expectations should raise the children's performances as well. So a group of kindergartners through fifth grade pupils were given a learning ability test. And the next fall, the new teachers were casually given the names of 5 or 6 children in the new class who were designated as spurters. The test supposedly revealed that they had exceptional learning ability. What the teachers did not know was that the test results had been rigged, and the names of these spurters had been chosen entirely at random. At the end of the school year, all the children were retested with some astonishing results. The pupils whom the teachers thought had the most potential had actually scored far ahead and had gained as many as 15 to 27 IQ points. The teachers described these children as happier, more curious, more affectionate than average, and having a better chance of success in later in life. The only chance the only change for the year was a change in attitudes of the teachers because they had been led to expect more of certain students. These children came to expect more of themselves. The explanation probably lies in the subtle interaction between teacher and pupils, speculates Rosenthal. Tone of voice, facial expression, touch, and posture may be the means by which, often unwittingly, teachers communicate their expectations to their pupils. Such communication may help a child by changing his perception of himself. And so, same thing with adults. I believe this is important if we're leaders, bosses, supervisors, managers, even if we're just working side by side with a coworker. These things can help change the way someone behaves. It says most of the people who come under our influence will have within themselves a mix of good and bad, ambition and lassitude, strengths and weaknesses. We can choose whether to build on their strengths or become obsessed with their weaknesses. And so there's a story about this pastor, how he's not as good as they would like for him to be, but they just focus. He says, we have tried to specialize in the areas where he is strong and forget about his weaknesses. And because of that, he performs better. So I love this, that we really have to focus on people's positive attributes. We really have to focus on their positives and not their negatives. If we focus on their negatives, we get more of what we don't want, which is negative or, bad behavior. But if we focus on the positive, we'll get, this person will live up to their full potential. We'll get more of, positive, more good things coming from this person. Something to be thinking about. And then, just kind of really paying attention to how we act, how we behave, how we treat people, how we talk to them. Do we talk down to people? Do we expect people to fail? Do we expect them not to do what we expect of them? So just be something to be thinking about. This is something that is so important that we could really change the trajectory of somebody else's life as well as our own.